very much. My name is Patrick Truman, and I am in my 30th year of daily activism against pornography. And I see it all. And today I have the incredible privilege of serving as the president and CEO of the National Center on Sexual Exploitation, whose mission it is to create and nurture a movement against pornography and all forms of sexual exploitation. And I emphasize the word movement. My previous job was chief of the Child Exploitation and Obscenity Section at the U.S. Department of Justice in Washington, D.C. That's the office charged with the prosecution of all adult pornography offenses and child pornography and child sex abuse offenses. And I want to make just 3 introductory points before the main event, Dawn Hawkins. And those 3 points, the first of which relates to my previous employment with the Department of Justice. And that point number 1 is that pornography is illegal. Did you know that? How many knew that pornography is illegal in America? Well, the reality is virtually every state has a law prohibiting the distribution of hardcore pornography. By hardcore pornography, the courts have said that is material that depicts sexual acts, either actual acts or simulated sex, or even the lascivious exhibition of the genitals of a person. Virtually every state has a law, and under federal law, it is illegal to distribute hardcore pornography on the internet. Did you know that? It's also a violation of federal law to distribute hardcore pornography by cable or satellite television. Verizon, Comcast, they're all violating federal law hundreds, thousands of times each day with their porn channels. It's a violation of federal law to distribute hardcore pornography in a hotel or motel. How many times have you checked into a hotel? Turn on that TV. They want you to rent the porn channels. It's right there. It's illegal under federal law. Punishable by 5 years in jail. It's illegal under federal law to distribute pornography by the mail, by common carriers such as UPS or FedEx. And it's a violation of federal law to distribute hardcore pornography just in a retail store. If you're in the retail business of selling pornography, you're a porn shop, you're illegal. If you're a mom and pop video shop and you have that back room that has adult videos that you're renting or selling, that's illegal in America. Now the question that comes to you, as it does to most people that I talk to about this, is that why isn't somebody doing something about that? And they want to look to the U.S. Department of Justice or to their local prosecutors, and they wonder, why don't they do something? If they'd done something, my child would not be addicted to pornography. My marriage would not have been broken up because of pornography. And I want to say, don't look to them. We have to look to each other, to you and to me and to the person next to you. Because the reality is, we don't care enough about pornography. We haven't cared. And prosecutors won't prosecute unless you complain. That's how law enforcement works in America. The second point I want to make is that we have now a public health crisis on pornography. You heard that from our previous speaker, our board member, Dr. Mary Ann Lade, and you're going to hear it more and more and more. Don't just call it a problem. It is now a public health crisis. It's not just a problem for you or your family, me and my family, your community and mine. It's in the nature of an epidemic. And we have to know what we're dealing with. And it is beyond our individual capacity to resolve it. And the third point I want to make is that we are beginning to win. And that's a very important point. I'm not saying we're winning. 30 years ago, Dr. James Dobson proclaimed that the war on pornography is a winnable war. But, he said, you have to fight it. You have to fight it. He produced a video with that same title. It became very popular then. And during the intervening years, countless battles and numerous souls have been lost to pornography because we didn't fight it. There was a critical time in World War II when Winston Churchill said, "Now is not the end, nor is it even the beginning of the end, but it is the end of the beginning." And what I want to say, and it's evidence in this room, and with the great press that's coming to this issue, and in so many other ways, is that we can see all around us that we are beginning to win the war on pornography. And we'll only step off that path to victory if you go home from this conference today with all that you'll learn, all that you'll take away from it, and do nothing. I say these three introductory remarks by way of preparation to introduce the most visionary person in this war on pornography, the hardest working person in this war on pornography. She is the field general of the war on pornography. Will you welcome, please, the Senior Vice President and Executive Director of the National Center on Sexual Exploitation, Dawn Love.
Thank you. My goal for the next few minutes is to help you see all the hope and how really the tide is turning in this fight. Just last year, the porn industry wrote 2 articles in their trade publication. One of the titles was, "The Tide is Turning Against Us." The porn industry sees that a movement is swelling, and they're scared too. So we should be celebrating. I hope that you can catch the vision and feel too that you're part of a swelling movement. I attended a pastor's conference 5 years ago in Washington, D.C. We had a booth, and no one came to our booth. I tried to step out and get in front of people and say, "Come on, let's talk about the issue of pornography." And the few who did stop said, "We can't talk about that at our church." But look at this. This shows that in just 5 years, the church has changed dramatically. There are so many new ministries upstairs in the Solutions Center. There are so many ministries providing tools for churches, teaching pastors and men's ministries and women's groups, all supporting that. All of this is proof that there's a huge movement, and it's being fought on many, many fronts. We recognize that it's beyond an individual or a family's capacity to protect against pornography alone. We can try all we can, and we must do all we can to help protect our families and ourselves, but it takes so much more than that. We do need the church. We do need government. We do need research. We do need medical professionals. We need law enforcement. We need everyone focused on this issue. It's important to understand that the solution isn't just one of these alone. We can't arrest, we can't prosecute, incarcerate, legislate, treat or educate our way out of the problems with pornography. It takes all of that and so much more that we probably haven't thought about yet to help curb this issue. Our organization got together with some other key leaders a few years ago to talk about how we should change the rhetoric. This is most definitely a moral issue. It damages the spirit in our relationships with God and with other human beings. But in addition to that, there's so much science now showing that there really is a pandemic of harm from pornography, that it is a public health crisis. We know it's changing the brain, as you saw earlier. We know that men, women, and children are developing lifelong dependencies. It impacts the physical, psychological, and emotional development of our children. It's damaging marriage after marriage, preventing young men from even wanting to get into a committed relationship. exploitation, normalizing sexual violence, increasing demand for trafficked women and children, increasing child exploitation and child sexual abuse images. All of these things are connected, and the research now is showing this. What's even more is, sadly, nearly every family in America has been touched by the harms of pornography. And if they're not touched, they're worried about it. I have 2 babies. I'm terrified about the world that they're growing up in. There is a public health crisis, and we have to start addressing that, and we are doing that. The National Center on Sexual Exploitation has brought together scholars, medical professionals from many different fields of expertise to help present this as a public health crisis. Many of you might have heard that just recently in the state of Utah, they passed a resolution declaring pornography a public health crisis. We were able to write that. We are working to get it passed in other states. We held a briefing at the U.S. Capitol to help Congress catch this, that there is a public health crisis and we have to do something about it. Government agencies are listening. I have been working with the Department of Health and Human Services, and last week I said, they want me on some committee, and I said, oh, that committee that's beyond my issue. I'm sorry, I don't think I should be. She said, Dawn, if you come to the table, we will make room for the issue of pornography. Government agencies are also on board. That's what we need. We need to speak up more and help people see the connections. Next, we have to also expose the connections between all forms of sexual exploitation. I'm so tired of hearing people talk about how there's a crisis in our college campuses of sexual violence, or in the military or on the street, and they're like throwing tons of money at how to combat this, but they're completely ignoring the fact that these college-age boys have been getting a regular diet of violent, hardcore pornography since they were 12, 13 years old. No wonder they're acting out on others, on their peers. No wonder there's this rape culture that's been normalized on our college campuses. We need the leaders to recognize that pornography is a major factor connecting all of these forms of exploitation. So, in your efforts, I encourage you to help connect these dots. When you're out speaking, help people see that when we normalize the buying and selling of women through pornography, we will see an increase in prostitution and sex trafficking. Speak up about these connections. They are not happening in a silo. We see the media starting to give credibility to these points as well. And so that takes all of us speaking up. We direct the Coalition to End Sexual Exploitation. There's about 300 organizations that are part of the group. And the amazing thing is, it brings together people who have such different ideological perspectives. We've got radical feminists together with very ultra-conservatives, the pro-family groups coming together, all at the table to help try to address this issue of pornography and sexual exploitation. It's incredible. And so we invite you to be part of it, but also because of this broad coalition being willing to work together, we're achieving so much. A few things, let me show you. We, just in the last year, got Hilton Hotels, Hyatt Hotels, Starwood, and Intercontinental Hotel Group to change their policy, and they're now getting rid of pornography completely in all of their hotels. Just over 2 million hotel rooms that will no longer offer pornography. And what's the best? Hilton, we've been trying to go after them for about 2 or 3 years, and finally last spring, they called us and they were like, come meet with us. You're sending us 1,000 emails a week. We had activists just through our action center sending emails to Hilton's CEOs and board of directors, and they were like, please make it stop. We said, you can make it stop if you take your policy, and they did. Intercontinental Hotels Group, the most recent one, they made a public statement together with us claiming that they need to fight for dignity, and that is why they chose to change their policy and get rid of pornography. Google stopped allowing pornographic ads and also has improved their safe search option. They got rid of apps in Google Play that were pornographic, and they better police that. The U.S. Army and the Air Force stopped selling pornography in all of their base exchanges, and now they do regular searches of all public and workspaces to make sure that pornography and explicit material is not there. That's incredible. It took a lot of work. There's a movement now, and it's happening. Cosmopolitan magazine, I hate that magazine so much. But last year, we got Walmart, Rite Aid, Food Lion, they all, Safeway, from the corporate headquarters said that Cosmo will be behind blinders. This is supposed to be everywhere. Now, we're having a little issues with how they implement it, so we need your help to call out the managers in the stores if you don't see it. But they even made public statements saying that the magazine will be behind blinders. This is incredible. Verizon removed child-themed pornography that they were selling. Can you believe that? They actually defended their child-themed pornography to us in the letter saying it's a benefit to consumer choice. We sent that letter to Fox News. And now Verizon, they still have terrible things that are for sale, but we can hold them to the fire. There's so much more work. This year we launched our Dirty Dozen list. We're running out of time. I want to tell you so many more victories, but I'm going to go forward. We launched our Dirty Dozen list. We picked 12 targets each year to go after, and we see them as pretty big facilitators of sexual exploitation in America. Many of them are profiting from pornography in one way or the other. And this year, we're really going after Verizon. We changed the hotel industry, now it's time to change the cable industry, and in one day, Verizon got 8,000 emails. Hilton was upset with 1,000 a week, but Verizon got 8,000. And I think we're going to be able to meet with them in a couple of weeks. Isn't that great? Yeah. So there's a lot when we work together. Let me show you a couple of pictures. This is a smattering of pictures from different groups in the movement. These guys bought these t-shirts from our shop, and they went on their own and stood in front of a strip club and took this picture. And this just went all over the internet. Below is a group educating and empower kids, talking to kids in middle schools. Enough is enough. Sent tons of signatures to McDonald's and Starbucks to get them to get rid of pornography on their Wi-Fi there. There are all of these groups working together. I was able to be interviewed last year. We got 12,000 press hits. We've been really trying to change the dialogue around this issue with a calculated outreach to the press and helping them see that there is research, that there is credible, more than just a moral argument to the issue of pornography. This was Good Morning America who was interviewing us, and the producer said, "Oh my gosh, thank you so much. You're right." It happened to be about 50 Shades of Grey, and they were on board completely with the fact that 50 Shades of Grey is normalizing sexual violence and contributing to great harm for men, women, and children. Oh, going the wrong way. We went to Google. There's about 8 groups represented here. Federal Communications Commission, we're working with them. The bottom left is our first press conference we had where we brought out the argument that this is a public health crisis. And since then, it's just taken off so much bigger than any one of our groups. The top right, there's a Mormon, a Catholic, and a Baptist working together. And that's wonderful, right? That's what we should be doing to turn this issue. And I just want to say, this is why we fight. We're fighting for love. These are my friends' great-grandparents on their 83rd wedding anniversary. This is what we want. God has intended for us to have long-lasting, deep, such true bonds with another human being. And this is what pornography disrupts. This is what we're fighting for, whether it be in our personal homes, in our personal lives, but also in our culture and in our communities. So please, join us. Go to our Action Center, exploitationaction.com. If you're a little shy and don't like speaking up in a store, like I get so nervous doing it, but I still do it. If you're a little too shy for that, you can take action at our Action Center. We have 85 things you can do, from signing petitions, making calls, sending tweets. I mean, it's so, and it helps tremendously in getting the word out and getting corporations and government to change their policies. We also just recently started a law center. I want you to know that now there is a legal arm to this movement. We got the resolution passed in Utah. We have some other very innovative things coming down the pike. If we can help you censor any businesses in your community, we want to help you get those out. We want to help buoy up the movement and the legal effort as well. If you want to learn, we have pornharmsresearch.com. A lot of people don't know this resource is out there, but a lot of research studies are on this website, and they're categorized by, the brain science, children, and so forth. But go to this site and use it as a resource for you. And lastly, I just want to say that you can stand for what is right. Sometimes it's so scary. Just a quick story. One time I was on an airplane, a guy was watching pornography in front of me. I made a big deal about it. I made a YouTube video after. The flight attendant said there's nothing he could do about it, and I was so mad. So I made a YouTube video just to share with our supporters, forgetting that when you put something on the internet, it can get way out of hand. So it did. It went viral, and we got so much opposition. Oh my gosh, for 2 weeks I was terrified. It was hard. They started threatening my family, myself. It was difficult. But as a result, almost every airline, every U.S. commercial airline except for American, changed their policy. And they no longer allow pornography, and they said that they better train their flight attendants so that they know what to do. It was so terrifying speaking up. But sometimes, even when we feel like we're the only one, we can make such a big difference. That's what I want to leave you with, is just, I want you to feel empowered and know that you're not alone, that there is a huge movement growing. And as we continue to meet together and brainstorm and work, collaborate across boundaries, we will have so much more success. So thank you for being here. And